Get this rolling.
Alrighty, it's been almost a month, and we are back with the 21st episode of the Conscious Cast on the Conscious Couch. Alright? All the consciousness
Yes.
in this bitch.
In
alright?
2022.
2022.
First episode of the new year.
Yeah, dude. First episode of the new year. And
Let's
we
go.
got a banger for you guys
Absolutely.
today, alright? And, you know, just to run it back a little bit, why have we been, slacking on the uploads a little bit in terms of, like, the Conscious Cast? The channel's been doing really well lately. But regardless, we've been on our shit. Cole's been busy. He's had an internship, I had COVID, so I was in quarantine for like 7 days. I was still editing, but, in order to avoid the disease transmission, we are back now, finally.
Yeah.
We're both clean, all right? Off the drugs, and we're here.
More drugs.
Yeah, more drugs.
More
drugs for everyone. Drugs for your kids, for your family. Who cares?
Get that needle in your arm.
All right, my boy Cole.
Today,
open it up.
we are talking about ambition and achieving goals in the new year.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. I decided to open the first, it's National Carnivore Month, of January, or World Carnivore Month, I think. So I've been going carnivore for this month, and that's a new change that I've been implementing. And additionally, I've changed my morning routine. And it's about, I've been very disciplined in that. Wake up at 4 in the morning, don't look at my phone for an hour. I leave for work at 5, I get in by 6, I'm up early, I'm moving and shaking. Cashing checks and breaking necks, as my boss likes to say. But, I've been looking at, I had a rough late last year, like last semester was an ordeal. I made sure to take my fucking self and reset over the break. And now we're back and we're fucking, I got a fire in my belly and we're ready to go to war.
Yeah.
And a big thing about fucking ambition is, motivation is not ambition. That you need to make very clear. Motivation is temporary, ambition is different. You can't rely on, you get down in the dumps and shit, and you lose motivation. That's different than ambition. Ambition is the pursuit of your dream. Motivation is how you feel about doing it in that moment. So you need to build habits, because habits are longer than,
Discipline.
Yeah, if you form that discipline, you can go so much further. Mike Tyson said, discipline is doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it. And you have to do some shit that you hate when you love it. And I was telling my friend who was having a rough go of it last semester too, and he was telling me, like, he wants to be a writer. He's always wanted to be a writer, and he's probably the smartest motherfucker I know. So if anybody can do it, it's him.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, like, he's been depressed. He's been, feeling shitty. And he wants to get up and write and do drafts and stuff, but he feels like he can't even get up and do the one thing that he believes he was put on this planet to do. And I was telling him, I shared New Year's Eve with him, and it was great. But he's telling me this, and I was telling him that we are tested. The dream is tested from time to time, and I told him, this is your test, because if you surpass this test, and you get through it, you'll be able to do anything. It's something, whatever it is, gets thrown in your way. A great challenge that tests your faith in the mission, in your dream. And you have to conquer that, crush it, grind it into dust. So that way you make this mountain look like a molehill in the face of your ambition and your dream. So that's what I say. It's like you need to, and I was telling Cal about this, before the podcast. It's like people get to the top and they get complacent. Like they settle into the comfort zone where dreams go to die. If they feel like once you've achieved a dream, you can just stop working once you've gotten it. Like I'll lateral off a couple examples. You got Conor McGregor. Got to the top, got complacent. Look at him now. He had 2 fights in the year, lost both of them. Fighting Floyd Mayweather, worrying about getting the money as opposed to being a fucking warrior. You got Andy Ruiz, who won against Anthony Joshua, and he wanted to ball out and party, and then he got his ass kicked in the ring match. They get to the top and they think they can just sit and get comfortable, and that's when the wolves who are coming for your spot come out. They smell it. not the fear, but the lack of discipline. And then they come and they take your spot from you, and then look where that leaves you, at the bottom again. So, like I say, why stop there? Why stop once you get the throne, once you have the crown? Why settle for being a king when you can be a god?
Why shoot for the moon when you can land on the stars?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, were you done?
No, I was waiting for you to finish, but it's
Okay.
like, you know, like, I was also telling you about this, but it's like, there's a quote in No Way Home that's been firing me up from the Green Goblin, and he was saying, like, you know, talking to Spider-Man, and he's like, I've watched you struggling to have everything you want, even though the world wants to make you choose. Gods don't have to choose. They take. So take what the fuck is yours this year. Figure out what you want to do and do it to the best of your ability. Make any possible way you can. Set forth and kill. Get it done.
Yeah.
This is, you gotta be a fucking lion. You gotta be an animal. And you gotta go out and find your prey and hunt it without mercy. I have goals. I've rethought my approach for this year and for the future to get me to that FBI position. You know, I'm making a lot of good connections with my internship, and they're giving me a lot of knowledge about what I can do in my career field. They're teaching me all these different, you know, technical aspects of cybersecurity and everything. I'm learning a lot, because when you're at an internship like I am, what if you're just in an internship in general, your job is to be a sponge. You know, because everybody wants to put a little money in your pocket in terms of knowledge, you know, and you should fill your pockets until they're garbage bags of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You got wealth out of your mind.
It's free too.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody wants to give you a piece. So it's like you have to use that to your advantage, and you need to just soak up everything you can. And it's like that's why I'm going into this, you know, new year, starting off on a good start, carnivore diet. I'm getting my morning routine situated. I'm starting my day off with passages from the Art of the Samurai. I'm building a mindset that is unconquerable. You know, so it's like if you can change your mindset and your routine, if you can change your base level to something more growth oriented, you can do anything you want. You know, it's like the animal was winning a bit too much. I was more emotion than logic, and we're coming back in. We're tightening the focus like a blade. You know, I got put through the crucible. I was in the fire all the time last semester, but I've come out now. I've been pounded on, and now I'm a fucking blade. So I'm approaching this, year not as a emotional animal, but as a fucking samurai. Going to war on my objectives, and you should do the same.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, that was a great.
Yeah.
Great way to open up the episode for sure. And like ambition, you know, is definitely beyond motivation. You know, and it's like the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was like, oh fuck, discipline. You know what I mean? It's like getting those behaviors, getting those habits, like the attitudes. Just that whole, like, really just your consciousness, right? Like, how you are conditioned in alignment with the fucking mission that you're going to. Because if that's not in alignment, you're not going to fucking get what you want done. And I think another thing that came to my mind when you were talking was, like, when you reach the top of the peak of the mountain, you know, it's like, what the fuck is next? I think, like, you put it really well when you said, like, why stop there? You know, I think you got to be able to turn to a new, I guess you could say, goal or a new thing that'll maybe not motivate you, but keep you going, you know? And it's like when we end up in situations like that, and it's like, it's human nature, because like everything that we seek outside of ourselves is only going to satisfy us for so long, you know?
Ooh, it's good that you said that, because, you know, that, like, Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest fucking swordsman in all of Japan, wrote in the Book of Five Rings, which is another samurai philosophical test that I've read, and I encourage that the watchers read it, because there's a lot of information there. But he said, you know, seek nothing outside yourself.
Yeah, facts.
Because within you is all that you need.
Yeah, facts.
You know, and it's like it goes against the way. You know, And I've found my way, and I'm sticking to it. And it's like my mindset has, transitioned from this conquering beast to this samurai. It's been, I know deep down that I have that capability, but I just kind of neglected it because
It's not easy.
I was caught in the struggle. But I've realigned myself, and now I am focused, and I know what I must do.
Yeah. It's good too because
Yeah.
you don't have all this. Because for a lot of people, it's like the new year, right? They're like, okay, new year, new me, right? We're gonna change all this shit.
Horseshit.
Horseshit. And like don't get me wrong, it's the very few people make it out,
Yeah.
and they're able to make those changes. But I guess for you, and like, don't take this in a bad way, like you're able to gradually ease into, I guess, kind of like all these, like, so you have your internship, you have, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, like you have like a maybe not more free time, but rather than having all this shit piled on top of you in terms of like school, internship, all this at once, you can kind of like lay down that groundwork, and then as you go into the new semester, like you're fucking hitting the ground running, and
Yeah.
it's like that's at least from my perspective,
Yeah.
look outside looking in, correct me if I'm wrong, but for a lot of people, I think like they're still dealing with all that type of shit, and it's like
Yeah.
they don't have that type of, like, I guess you could say they're not in the same type of situation where we have, where maybe obviously you're working like 40 hours a week, but it's for someone that is in that type of situation where they have all these different responsibilities. Let's just say they have like a family, they have like a job, just like all these different responsibilities as compared to, not saying we don't have a lot of responsibilities, but a lot of things that fucking pull them out of the way. Like what would you say to them in terms of like when they're in that kind of like opposite situation?
Yeah, when you're plagued by responsibility,
Yeah, exactly.
but you still have a goal.
Exactly, and you want to make all these changes, like
Yes.
exercise, like all these goals.
It's really, realistically, it starts with discipline. But like, it's hard for a lot of people because they have a family or responsibilities that they have to allot their time into, and it's like you can't necessarily take less hours of your job to pursue your dream sometimes because you have to feed your family and shit like that. So it's like you really have to figure out, you have to weigh your options. You need to plan it out before you make a step forward. But realistically, all I can really say, if people want to really fight and achieve what they want from themselves and out of their existence, is, you need to make sacrifices for your dream.
Very true.
Sometimes, like, realistically, in my reset period, I haven't been hanging out with like a lot of my friends, because I've been hanging out, and I've been going to work, and I've been coming home, and I've been playing video games, and it's great, it's fun, I'm enjoying myself, but it's like, don't fucking talk to me, let me just play my games with my friends sometimes, but it's like, I'm not going out and hanging out as much, because I'm being inside, I'm chilling out by myself, and I'm having a good time doing it, but it's like, the issue is, a lot of, when I come back, I'm going to be in grind mode, and it's like, whether that's splitting my time up, the time management's big too, but it's like, I'm going to be focused more on working and focused on myself, and like, my plan is, once I get out of, like, college, and I start working probably, hopefully, full time at this place I'm doing the internship at, I just want to put everything into my career and fighting, because those are the two things I love the most. It's like I have the mission of becoming an FBI agent and becoming this well-rounded specialist in the crime investigation and law enforcement category, but I also have a passion for being a great warrior. So I want to put all of my time into those two things. So any time I get, I'm going to be training. I can wake up early in the morning. It's going to be, I'm not going to be able to work at the school gym, so I can work at the local gym around here, early in the morning, get my day going with exercise, and then end the night with exercise by going to jiu-jitsu or kickboxing or Muay Thai or some martial art and training it until I'm tired, and then I go to sleep and I do the same thing, focusing on training and working, develop the cybersecurity concept skills, become a more well-rounded specialist in that area, but also on the ground and in the combat scenario, become a well-rounded specialist. These are the two things I care about the most, so I'm going to allot my time into it. And I saw my sensei over break, And ever since I've seen him, all I've been thinking about is judo. All I've been thinking about is fighting, going back, trying new grips, just thinking about ways I can fight again. Because that's my passion. That's what I love to do. And it's like, but I also want to be this agent, you know. These two, sometimes you need to make sacrifice on one to have the other. But if you're passionate like I am, you do whatever you can to make both work. So that's what I got to say you got to do. If you have passions for two things or a responsibility that you need to manage and a dream that you want to fulfill, you might need to sacrifice one for the other. Or just, if you can do both, do them both to the best of your ability. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no facts. And let me just check the camera. Oh, fuck. Oh, chilling. All right.
Hit me.
That hurt like a bitch.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, kind of like what you were pointing out there, like, similar to, you know, doing school and YouTube at the same time. Obviously, I'm not, like, a full-time fucking YouTuber or some shit, but, like, you know, my goal, like, every week is, during school is to usually upload, you know, like, a podcast or something like this, and, it would usually be like one high quality, really edited video. You know, like this obviously this probably takes me like an hour to edit. You know, put it all together at most. And then like those other high quality videos that comes out, like how I would do it is like, okay, on Mondays I would upload the podcast. On Fridays I would upload, you know, like I guess you could say entertainment video or like, you know, like a philosophical dialogue that I do, like a narrative kind of. And like with that, you know, you got to set your priorities straight, you know, and it's like, okay, you got to know when you got to do school and when, how long can I edit today? You know, like I would usually do 1 hour every single day. And then by the time I get to Friday, I had, you know, not a lot of schoolwork to do. I'd finish it up in the morning and then just go straight into editing until I finish that video and put it up every week, you know, and for a lot of people, you know, they'd be like, Cal, why do you keep spending so much time doing YouTube? Like, why do you spend so much time, like, wasting so much time doing this when you get such little result? You know, it's like running into a brick wall and never fucking getting through that brick wall. But, like, you know,
it's the test.
Yeah, and I have that little fucking plastic-ass spoon that I guess you could say Shawshank Redemption, and I'm just slowly chipping away at it, you know? And I was thinking about this too, dude. And, like, yeah, you know, just doing all this different, like, doing both, making it both work at the same time. Like, obviously, sometimes you might have to sacrifice one thing for the other if it comes down to that, you know, like, but I feel as though, like, if you really, truly love something, you can always make at least, maybe, like, 10, 15 minutes for it every single day, right? Or, like, for me, in my case, like, during school, like, obviously, school is a priority because I'm fucking paying for it, you know, and, like, it's gonna most likely have the greatest amount of effect on my life, but also school, because that's also a passion of mine. And I was thinking, dude, during the summer when we first started this podcast, like I had 215 subscribers. Now we're at 270. From the outside looking in, that's not a lot, but from the inside looking out, that's like 55 new people, you know, and like 55 people. Like, think about that. That's a lot of fucking people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like maybe it's not directly to this podcast, but dude, we're just slowly chipping away. You know what I mean? It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And Cole and I were having a really good discussion before. I'm not gonna like. Kind of like gonna bounce off that. Yeah, it's like kind of this is my take on New Year, New Me. Like, obviously, if you feel some kind of way about this, like, you know, cool, I get it. But this is my perspective and my experience. You know, like prior to like I guess you could say my spiritual awakening, or I guess you could say shift in awareness, kind of in more practical terms, in mindset towards life. Like, I always kind of got that, like, like, new year, new me pressure, you know, like that, the media pushes on everybody, you know, like, a lot of commercials, you know, why? Because they can make money off it, you know, makes sense.
Or people can talk, so a lot of it, it's like, I get this from women a lot, and it's like, they do new year, new me, so they can flex on other girls about how much better they're doing.
Or you could do it like that.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Some egotistical, you know, type of stuff, you know. Yeah. There's multiple
From
reasons.
what I've seen,
yeah.
I'm not saying all women.
Yeah, no, not all women. You know, brackets. Or whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's like
you people.
It's like what another thought that came up into my head, you know, because like you're obviously using. Would you say you're using this as a reset period, kind of like the new year a little bit?
Yeah, I'm coming out of a reset period from last semester. Okay. And it's like I definitely realigned my entire focus.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like I'm coming into a new person, but it's like I'm very much the same.
Okay.
It's just realistically it's a new but old mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's it's a new mindset that I have, but I've had and to utilize kernels of it, but now I'm just putting it all together.
Okay, gotcha. And so like a thought that popped up in my head. I was like, let this be the last reset. Let this be the last time when you have to fucking, put all the pieces back together, and then for like however long, maybe it be a month or a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, that all those pieces, just fucking fall off all the table, and then you got to spend the rest of the year, or maybe not the rest of the year, in sorrow, and then you got to wait for maybe 2023 to come back around and fucking put all the pieces back together just for it to all happen again the next time. And so, like, with that being said, like, how my perspective is on it, like, nothing, new year, same me. That's how I'm feeling.
Exactly. Like, I was, my roommate Mikey was asking me about this. Like, I came back after the new year, and he was like, any resolutions? And I told him straight up, I'm like, I'm not really a resolution type of guy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you shouldn't need a new year to better yourself.
Exactly.
It's like, it's just like, it's not about new year, new me. It's new day, new me.
New moment, new you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or depending on where you are.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
It's like, I'm just trying to be better than the guy yesterday.
True.
It's like, that's what you got. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And if you're worse, you gotta stop that decline.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, it's not like, and that's literally all you gotta do. You gotta be better than the guy you were yesterday. And like, as a martial artist, that's very much the way. It's like, that is where I align myself. It's like, you can, like, you're definitely better at what you're doing at every, like, class you go to. I go to judo on Tuesday or Thursday. I'm a better judoka than I was on Thursday or on Tuesday because I'm here Thursday. It's like, this is where and the same thing. It's like, Monday, new day, time to kick ass.
Yeah. True.
You got to wake up with vigor and conviction. And it was like, Conor McGregor's kind of been inflated in terms of his ego, but when he was beginning, like, the big quote that you see all the time, it's like, your lack of commitment is almost an insult. And I feel that, it's like, people will bitch and moan and be sorry for themselves all day, and talk of true change, self-change, but it's different than actually acting on it. And I put this on my Instagram a while ago. It was like Captain America hitting a heavy bag, and, it was, the text was, fuck attention, be a ghost, get the work done, and shock everybody with the results.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because once you start becoming something, once you start changing, people will fucking tell you about it. Like, everywhere I went, everybody was like, you're looking good, Cole. You've been hitting the gym? I'm like, yeah. And I was modest about it, because it's like, it's a part of my life that will always be a constant, because I have to get that negativity out one way or another. But it's always going to be a constant in my life, and it's like, when you dress different, people start talking to you about it. Like, it's like, they like, it's like, you change. Don't show people, because by interacting with them and changing yourself differently, they'll tell you about that shit. It's like, if you are something, people will tell you that you are. And it's like, that shouldn't be why you're doing it. But here's the thing. I stand by this. Just work. And the results will come to you when you are worthy. And it's like I said before, over the summer I did a big change. Changed the way I dressed, changed the way I approach talking to girls and stuff like that, or just like opening up my body language, and lo and behold, I've seen a bunch of success. People have been talking to me more, I've been making a lot of people laugh, I've been having good interactions with women, and some have even come up and asked me for my attention, and it's like,
Happens.
It's such a different, it's a very much a mindset thing, but it's like, it's literally just do something great and don't tell anybody, because they'll see it eventually. It's like, if you're doing true self-change, why do people need to know about it if you're the one changing yourself? You're the only person who you have to convince, and then everyone else can just hop on board, or here's your stop, because it's like, there's a lot of people trying to get in the way of your goals, because they see what you're doing, and they try and stop you, because it makes it feel better about themselves. You gotta say fuck other people and get the work done. It's like, say you have a dream of being like a professional photographer or something, and nobody like believes in your dream because you can't take good pictures yet. or something, and your mother's like, for example, you're getting pressure from family to get a more plausible dream that will make you money. And fuck them. Fuck everybody that doubts you. You're the only one who needs to believe in yourself. You don't need everybody else to believe you to get something done. All you need is your own conviction. So you get shit done and you don't tell anybody about it, and then they will be shocked by the results. Yeah, and then they somehow forget all the times they doubted you. They just forget it, which is stupid because it's like, you know what you fucking said, and I used your negativity as motivation to beat you. It's like, I take your criticism and I say, fuck you, this is my dream. Look at it in all of its glory.
Yeah.
That's how you got to approach it. You can't be thinking about what other people think in this new year. Like, ever, actually. If some guy says something yesterday that bugs me, it's gonna stick for a little bit. It's gonna bother me. I'm not gonna lie. But I gotta go into the next day saying, not my problem. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. You can feel however you want about me. I'm still gonna be getting after it. I'm on my purpose, and nothing's gonna stop. Nothing's gonna derail me, except for me.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, and I was gonna say, like, other people's thoughts only have value if you give it value. You know, and it's like, it's so true.
Who are they to question your dream?
Exactly. And it's very interesting because, like, obviously here in America we live in a very individualistic culture, and
and it's weird because I've been listening to some podcasts, and I've been watching this Canadian YouTuber Jack Denmo. It's a very good concept, but he was saying from a Canadian like in America, he was like, yeah, everybody in Canada is like so nice. They're like thinking about everybody else as opposed to me, like. But America, it's like, fuck you, I'm working on myself, you can fuck off, It's very, it's very much that New Yorker, hey, fuck you mentality. It's kind of funny. But I think I mentioned this in another podcast, but, gonna drop David Goggins' knowledge again. He's got some fucking hype. But essentially, he was saying, like, everybody's to go better themselves, like Sober October, or No Nut November, or whatever, all that shit. New year, new me. I got fuck you every day. That's how you got to do it. That's what you got to do. You got to put your head down. You got to grind every day.
Yeah, every day. And it's like also like with that kind of, I forgot what the fuck I was about. Did you just hit your hand?
No, that was me moving.
Oh, okay, all right. That was probably
Ruck de boot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like fuck you every day, and like that mentality, just like keep going no matter what.
Gas pedal mentality.
Yeah, gas pedal mentality. It's like, but also like with that, like you experience this yourself, like in the fall, like burnout. Like if you have that constantly, but if you can balance that with kind of like just different ways of.
You need to know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself, and like how you can regenerate and keep that. Because I'd rather have a consistent. Like I'd rather make small progress
all the time,
every single day. Rather than, just fucking hauling ass one day and then just, like, sucking ass the other 29 days, like, that's how I look at it, at least, and that's what works best for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just make small progress every day. It works really well.
Yeah. It's like running, it's like working out and burning out. It's like doing full body once a week, you know what I'm saying? Like, I go in on Sunday, I kill myself, I can't move for the rest of the week. It's like, how much are you really getting from that? It's like you're just pulling everything in different directions as opposed to chest on Monday, arms on Tuesday, back on Wednesday. Like structuring it out and going little by little to make the unit better as a whole, as opposed to rushing it on one day and being stagnant for the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. And yeah,
you lose out.
Yes, that's literally like, oh, come on, brother. That's literally like the perfect analogy right there. And it's like, you go in, you break down the different muscle groups. You're not hitting full body every single day. You know what I mean? You can't, because that's just not feasible. You're one, you'll get injured. You're not going to make any progress.
And two, your muscles will atrophy an insane amount from overtraining.
Exactly. And like, you're not going to build any strength. You're not going to build any muscle.
You're just going to get tired and feel shit.
Exactly. And like some people do that. Like obviously, there's 4 day splits of full body, but those full 4-day splits of full body are broken down in ways in which if you transferred that into a different program, it would be the same amount of volume, reps, sets as it would be for, like, say, like a program where you hit chest and buys twice a week and, like, every other muscle group twice a week. It would equal out usually. That's how it would go. But, like you said, if you're going in one day, hitting full body, and then just being like, yeah, man, I'm good for the week. Like, I don't need to do anything else. It's just like, come on, man. Like, you gotta be smarter about this.
You deadlift your fucking max, and then you're like, I'm good, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like the guy who thinks he's gonna get stronger every day by
exactly.
going in and doing a 1-rep max. Like, that's, you gotta bring the weight down, and,
maybe get that, high weight to 4 or 5, and then you can be good.
Exactly, 4
You still
steps.
get the same nervous system shock. But,
exactly.
It's the same thing,
Yeah, definitely.
You got to be training for a purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like, here's the thing about a lot of people. Like, it's, people train for physique. I train for function, And it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with training for physique. It's being healthy. It really is. It's exercise so you can feel better. Or, like, mentally feel better. But it's like, there's those fucking memes where it's like, you'll see these meatheads who are just like, you work out, like, or you have rest days or like, because you worked out, I have to stop myself from taking from going in, we are not the same. And it's like, I kind of understand that, but it's like, for me, it's like, I go in there so I don't fucking hit people that look at me wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's different. It's not good,
Yeah.
but I'm in there for the same reason. But I'm also trained to be a better fighter a little bit. I'm building up the strength and conditioning. I'm making sure. I've been training, boxing by myself, and I've just been working on that bag, and I've been doing drills, and I feel myself improving, but just by myself. It's like you're fighting the guy in the mirror.
Yeah.
So and you have to beat him every day, or you have to beat. Yes, you have to be better than the guy you have to be better than your after image.
Yeah.
So it's like you're chasing the guy, you're running ahead, you're racing the guy behind you and in front of you. Yeah. So it's like the more you run from the guy behind you, you're becoming the guy. You're getting closer to the image in front of you.
Yeah.
You're racing your own ghost.
And I think I also got, this just came up into my head, and it's like something I think I should touch on, because, like, don't get me wrong, like, we've talked about this constantly on this channel, like during the process of, like, when you're in, say, for instance, a burnout, when you're in, for instance, these negative situations, like, where you feel bad about yourself, and, like you said, fuck everybody else's opinion. Hell yeah, fuck everybody else's opinion. But what happens when you're in those situations? And I find this in myself a lot, where you have a lack of self-confidence, and you feel the need to have a reassurance. It's okay to remember that, like, you are whole and complete in that moment, regardless, like, of, like, where you are along that spectrum. And it's like, we say this all the time. You are the masterpiece, but the work in progress at the same time. And it's like, that is so important to remember, because when I say masterpiece, I don't mean good or bad, right? I don't mean like you're the master of a craft. I mean that you are whole and complete as a neutral being in that moment.
You are the finished product.
Yeah, exactly. And like, we have all these, like, we're trying to understand the reality that we are currently operating in, but, like, for us to understand that reality, like, for us to understand that reality, it is not a requirement for us to understand that reality, for that reality to work as it is, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I know that was, like, fucking tongue twister, but, like, with that, it's very important to remember, like, when you're striving for goals, and it's like, it's a natural human instinct to want more, to have a purpose, like, I feel it, like, when I wake up,
or to give up,
and it's like when I was in quarantine, and I found it, I was like, man, I just want some stuff to do, like, I want to do things, and, like, all the things Cole has said, and, like, I have mentioned in this podcast, touch on that, and in my opinion, give a lot of fucking good advice, and, like, for both of us at the same time, like, we're both learning, we're both in this together, we're in this with you guys, but it's also important to remember that, like, if you're not as good as someone else, say, in a certain craft, that you remind yourself that you are equal to them in like a whole picture scale, maybe not in that specific area. Yeah. And this might be demotivating for some people. It might be boring, but you have to remember this, because when it comes to situations where you're in those burnout phases and you want to keep going, right? Remembering this, least in my experience,
Yeah.
is one of the most important things. And you're like, oh yeah, bro, I'm whole and complete. What the fuck does that mean? You know, it's just like just take a second, just realize everything that you already have, even though you really don't have anything, because it's all based on a belief.
Yeah.
But it's facing that realness. You know what I mean? It's not all about sunshine and rainbows. You know, running for that goal. You know, but that's also very good at the same time. But it's also keeping it real with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely gotta keep it real with yourself, and that's the thing. It's like never stop hustling. You know, keep going. And the thing is, like, if someone's better than you at something, that should give you fucking motivation.
Yeah, true.
You're like, okay, I know where I stand. I'm gonna fight that guy every day until I beat him. I'm a white belt. Let me go roll with the black belts. Let me get tapped out a fuck ton and ask questions. Hey, how do I get past this guard? How's my leg lock form? You know, you get all these. You realize that it's like, I'm getting tuned up by these guys that are better than me. Time to get on their level. Let's fucking go.
When you really realign yourself for like that last time, or well, no, obviously you're not gonna be perfect 100% of the time. No one's perfect, right?
Yeah.
But
striving for perfection isn't necessarily an empty goal.
Yeah, exactly. But like as long as
as long as you know it's a fictitious concept, it just gives you something to chase.
Exactly. Just because you're never going to achieve perfection, but you can always get better, like somehow, some way. But
let your ambition choke the very gods themselves.
Yeah, those fictional gods. But,
yes.
You know, so. But yeah, like regardless, like New Year's, same me type of thing. Nothing much has really changed for me. Like, obviously, I want to realign myself, and and to be fair, like New Year's is a good time to realign yourself. Yeah. You know, like maybe not.
It's an excuse to clean off the slate.
Yeah.
You know, you got a dirty table. You know, just wipe that shit off and keep going.
Yeah.
Like the New Year's, a good time to do it, but people lack the discipline. They lack the conviction, and they fail as a result of it. You know, they don't have the juice, you know.
Yeah.
Set a fire in your heart and fucking get it.
And like, what the fuck was I gonna say? I think it's big too that like when you do hit that like small reset button, or maybe you do hit that one major reset button for the last time. It's really important that like you make those recognizations of like, okay, maybe like for instance for me, like I'm trying to, drink more water, like small shit like that. It's just like it is a good reminder, like to be fair, like and that's one of the good things about like holidays and stuff like that. But you shouldn't rely so much on holidays and external events, just for that to be your reminder. Like you have to be a leader in yourself, and then take that step. Take that willing step when everyone else around you is not doing it, because that's a big thing, and because it's very hard when you step outside of yourself. Like for example, like making a new choice, that one that you're not necessarily always used to making. Like for example, yesterday, like this isn't the biggest choice, but like I'm slowly trying to lean off like cheese and milk and stuff like that, with just different substitutes. And I saw this beautiful fucking salad that had blue cheese, goat cheese on it, but then I had another salad right next to it, it was dry tomatoes, spinach, very good salad. But I wanted that blue cheese salad so fucking bad, because I know that shit is banging, it's so good. But I remember, like, this is like my logic around it, right? And this is you can apply this to like people who speak, but they don't back it up with their actions, right? It's
they
like
talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
Exactly. And then so as I started to, I was like, wait a minute, Cal. Like I was about to reach for the blue cheese salad. Like, oh, let me just get this. It's not a big deal. I'll do it the next time. I'll procrastinate, throw it off. And so as I did that, I was like, wait, Cal. My moral code is when I have the option to not eat a dairy or animal-based product, I'm going to take the other option of not having that animal-based product. And so I was like, oh man, like, it was uncomfortable, it was inconvenient for me, but I did it, it was like a small choice, But when you come to bigger things and habits and behaviors, that first step is that choice. That first step, and then once you make that first step, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna deal with all this. Like, obviously, I was like, man, I'm not getting my blue cheese, you know. and then I made that step. You know, obviously it was small, but now the next time I do it, it'll be easier. You know, and then you can apply this to any situation that you're trying to change and shift to.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. The first step is the biggest one, and like I feel like as a guy, the biggest thing that we can attribute that to is talking to girls. Walking up and going is the hardest part.
Yeah, facts,
because
man.
you fear rejection. But if you just fucking just go in, don't care about if you get rejected. Just be confident. Your success rate will go through the roof. Because it's like a lot of people are nervous. A lot of them, you got to be body language. You got to keep it open. You got to, just comment on shit. Like, just a lot of good, conversation comes from, like, at least comedically, the way I see it, comes from, talking about your surroundings. You're like, damn, that guy's liking what he's wearing, or you see some whack shit or whatever. It's just like, holy shit, what's going on over there? Looks like a fucking monkey's running around. Just like some stupid shit and like heckle it practically. But make the girl laugh. But it's just like, just talk to them. Have a genuine conversation, capture their interest, and secure the digits. That's really all you got to do. But you're gonna fail a lot. Failure is a part of the process, and that's what you need to know going into this new year. Just because you fail, don't get discouraged, because it is failure that builds the bridge to success.
Yeah, facts. And like New Year's, years in general are a myth. They're a concept, right? And
technically,
you didn't let me finish. All right, so like when we have like January, March, April, May, like obviously it takes 365 days to get around, fucking sun. Like, I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm saying the surrounding concepts of it don't exist. All right? And so, like, January, February, March, all these celebrations, in a sense, they're illusion, right? And so, like, with that...
Social construct.
Yeah, social constructs. And like, with that, we have to recognize that, like, each day you can make, in a sense, a new year, or a new moment for you. Like, we talked about this earlier in the podcast. And I've said this in past podcasts, like, each moment is an opportunity for you to change your circumstance, change the way you respond to situations, and change how, like, if you're constantly thinking negative, and it's like, and this is oh my God, this is at, like, the root core of it. If you're constantly thinking negative, for instance, right, and you shift, you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to think like this. Maybe I should talk to myself better. Maybe I should, maybe I should, like, not treat myself like shit, but I'm so used to making fun of myself. I'm so used to making fun of myself that I don't know anything else. And then I bet, and I don't know this kind of from a personal experience, like, I would wonder what it's like for a person that constantly bashes themselves and constantly doubts themselves and, like, has a lack of confidence when they're just, like, when they fully take just an oppositional stance, you know what I mean? And they make that change. They're like, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to fucking get this bread, and I'm going to reflect it in my actions. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, a lot of people do that, and then they end up failing. They go back to whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can
test of will.
Yeah, test of will. And, like, if you can get past that choice, like, how uncomfortable does something... Like, there's a reason why you're uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And it's, if you can get past... Like, obviously, like, don't get me wrong, if you're about to jump off a fucking cliff, like, with no, like, safety precautions, like, I get that. That's uncomfortable, okay? But, like, when I'm talking about, like, for instance, going up to a girl, right? Or changing your thought habits, you know what I mean? That is when you have the chance to make a change in your life. And, like, it's so... No growth happens outside your comfort zone, right? And once you take that first step, right, going up to that girl, you get past that initial barrier, or you start talking to yourself better in your head, or you start doing meditation, or you start, just like self-help, you have, like, you feel better about yourself, you're in a better state of mind. That, over time, you slowly chip away at it, and over time you'll build up that habit, and you'll be like, this has been accessible to me all this time, and you'll realize all the problems, one, that you created for yourself, and what you got to do to get away from those external factors that you can't necessarily control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a big thing. It's like really, going into the new year, you just have to go after it with everything you got. Don't we'll hit you with this Shia LaBeouf. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Make your dreams come true.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Do it.
Oh man, oh, you got a little Shia LaBeouf, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like, yeah, dude, just fucking do it. There's
Just
nothing,
do it.
there's nothing stopping you but you. Like,
Yep.
it's so true, and it's like, for example, for me, like, I feel like I'm working on a videography business right now, like Conscious Creations. Maybe you've seen it. You know, I'm starting my business. I'm starting a website right now, and it's almost completely done. And I have like this Fiverr page that I've been working on, and it's helped lay the groundwork for my business. And I remember I was like looking at all these people on Fiverr, and I was like, bro, I can do what they're doing. Like, I can do that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, maybe not as well as like, you know, the people who have like really established pages. And I was like, well, I didn't feel comfortable at that moment in time being like, yeah, I'll do it like with procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. And I was like, nah, bro.
There is no tomorrow.
There is no
tomorrow.
Exactly. And I
Listen to Apollo Creed when he's talking to you.
yeah,
There is no tomorrow.
There is no
Get that
tomorrow.
shit done today.
today. And it
Yeah.
went. And I started it, you know, and I pretty much have the entire profile and like the packaging, the pricing. You know, I'm working on a promo right now, and it's turning out, in my opinion, really fucking good. Do I like making the promo? Fuck no, but it's what I gotta do to make sure I have an established product for the consumers that come to my page. You know, and like, don't get me wrong, I understand it is extremely competitive on Fiverr, but like, if I didn't take that step, because I remember I was working on my website for a couple weeks, right? And I was like, okay, creating my portfolio, getting it all together, you know, I'm specializing in educational content, like, similar to, like, the Intriguing Dialogues, like, in that sense, like, you know, on social media. And obviously, like, other cinematics, like, you know, the fighting, you know, if someone wants to do that, they can. But also, I was lacking that kind of, like, informational piece of, like, what, like, writing down verbally, like, what I offer, you know? And if I didn't take that step through Fiverr, like, that, when you create your page and like what service you're gonna provide people, like they give you the infrastructure to write all this stuff out. And so if I didn't take that step into Fiverr and like necessarily like I guess you could say, yeah, exactly, like start this process, then I would have been way back here, you know. But like with Fiverr and me taking that step outside my comfort zone that one night and just keep pushing myself to keep doing this, you know, even though it might not be the most comfortable, might not be the most enjoyable, right? But it's allowed me to develop a greater preparation for when I officially establish this. And, you know, obviously, it's not perfect. I understand that. There's ways to improve it. But I'm making progress, and this is a dream of mine, you know what I mean? And it's like I could see myself being a videographer, you know what I mean? And being, or maybe not a full-time videographer, but being someone that edits videos for other people, you know, and making a living off of it. Like, I see that in myself, and I think I can really do it. And it's just about like those baby steps, you know, and you're like, we were talking about this, having a conversation before, like those weird ass thoughts that come in your head that drag you back into comfort, and sometimes they're gonna drag you back into comfort
and darkness.
In darkness, yeah, and like, it's okay, Cal, just, you know, just lay down here on the couch, you know, you don't need to edit, you know, and you'll do it later, you know.
Yeah, Goggins calls that the bitch voice. You gotta silence the bitch voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe Rogan says conquer your inner bitch. You know, that's what you gotta do. You gotta stop listening to you have to stop listening to the voice in your head and give your head a new voice. You know, like stay motivated, stay hungry. You know, it's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take those hours.
Man, my man Cole's just like a whole encyclopedia of quotes. If you need a guy that has quotes, go to him, alright? But, I mean, yeah, you should start your own freelance videography business doing that.
Dropping knowledge.
Dropping knowledge.
What Cole Lindsay, wisdom consultant.
Wisdom, dude. Hey, yeah, that might be an idea. No.
But yeah, no.
That's funny.
But yeah, I think closing this out, you know, it's a new year. Don't let the guy you were last year stop the guy you're going to become this year. You know, like do not let the failures of the past just discourage you from the way of progression.
Yeah, and you know how good you can be. You know your potential.
Yeah.
Just actualize it, you know, and like you're whole and complete in this moment. All right, you know, you're one with everything around you. but also like with this dream, there's a reason why it's called the dream, and we can do what we want in the dream, and we can make it fucking happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So to end this, I say, to hell with attention. You don't need anyone else's belief than your own belief in yourself. Stay hard.